Hey, we're still going. 5-game win streak, man. Let's go.
These are the players that you're going to see trying to make it onto the national team for the future moving forward.
I think that is the perfect example of what PVF, their selling point is and why their league is so great.
Welcome to Around the Block Volleyball. We're approaching the end of the season for all the major US leagues, and there's a lot of volleyball to watch. Which league should you lock in on? Let us help you figure it out, but first, let's go over last week's matches. So first for our match recaps, we're gonna start off with League One. The first game on Thursday was Madison versus Salt Lake, and Madison won 3-2.
Hey, we're still going. 5-game win streak, man. Let's go. Let's go.
Very huge for them after a huge 8-game loss streak just at the beginning of the season. They're on the climb up, and significant from this game was player of the game, Annie Drew Schumacher. She had 26 kills on 36.2% efficiency, and she had 1 ace, 2 blocks, and 12 digs. I'm sorry. No disrespect, but insane game from her, helped carry them to victory.
Yeah, again, just showing why she was playing during the Olympics sometimes over Jordan Thompson, you know?
Yep.
And she's still that level of player. She just had to get healthy, and now it's looking like it.
Yep, she's healthy and she's back to dominating. This is what Madison was missing. We were talking about that they need a little bit more offensive firepower. It's here.
And I think everything is just clicking for Madison. I think the passing has gotten a little bit better.
Yeah.
They're using Janiska pretty much as a DS, and she's working out very well. And I think overall, Madison's kind of hitting their stride.
Yep.
So.
And then moving on to Friday, we had Austin versus Omaha in another 5-set game. And Austin won because Omaha keeps losing.
I mean, I don't even remember how many losses this is in a row. It's a lot.
It's a lot, especially because they tried not to count the classic.
Yeah, but that started would also there. Count one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really has been a rough showing for Omaha. Obviously, they played that match close, but it still hasn't really been there.
Yeah. For Austin, the player of the game was Chaka Gbogu, and she had 14 kills on 52.4% efficiency, which is crazy. She had 1 ace, and she had 9 blocks.
She was so close to the double-double. Like the craziest double-double to have, too.
Yeah. Jesus.
She's almost there.
Yeah. I mean, she's part of the reason why Austin is the best blocking team in the league. So, the main reason.
Yeah.
So, crazy. And the only other thing of note from this game is that Sammy Francis got signed onto Omaha from Stanford.
Yeah.
Even though she's still in school, she still has to take finals. Use the break, come play some volleyball, make her pro debut.
That's so funny that she's in spring break, and then she said, all right, I'm just going to come over. You signed me, I'll play.
Yeah. Respect and congratulations to her for making the pro debut because it was pretty good.
Yeah, she did look very good for her pro debut. I mean, I assume they have spring training and stuff, but she's also a senior. I don't know how that stuff works, but she did look really good, actually.
Yep. So respect and congratulations to her. And now we're on to Saturday where the teams play each other again. And the first game, Atlanta versus Austin, 3-0. Not too much to talk about this game. Player of the game, Mackenzie Adams, 9 kills. But when it was such a beatdown, like no one's going to have that high kills anyways. So
yeah.
She was a good standout player. She also had 3 blocks and 11 digs. So good on that defensive end.
Yeah, I think Atlanta's still just looking that good. Mm-hmm. And it's still an Austin team that's kind of recovering after the coaching change.
Yeah, I think this shows that they're really up and down. So
it's
very iffy with them. Another stat that I just had written down was that Molly McCage was the only player on Austin to have above 17% efficiency. She had 60% efficiency, which is very good, and she helped drag up their efficiency rating to positive because even with her, their positive efficiency rating was 2.5%. So they were almost hitting negative as a team, which just shows how bad this was.
Yeah, that's not very great showing.
Yeah. So they're still working on it, and we'll see how it goes. And then the final game for League One was Houston versus Omaha, and Houston won 3-1, fairly convincing.
Again, I think Houston just really looks that good. Jordan Thompson obviously is still, putting on a crazy job that she's just always, it feels like she's always putting up 20 kills.
Yeah. Player of the game, 21 kills, 47.4% efficiency, 2 blocks, and 13 digs.
Yeah, cannot stop her. And again, even with this Omaha defense, which is usually the thing that we're going to praise, it's still that hard to stop her.
Yeah, she's the most unstoppable player in the league right now. And, I mean, getting 21 kills in a 4-set game, that's crazy.
Yeah. And also, congratulations to her. She reached 200 points, the first player to do that. And again, I think that just speaks to her dominance and maybe the run for MVP, right?
Yeah, man, this is also, by the way, she's taking some games off. So she's just getting that many kills.
I know, yeah. She actually hasn't. Yeah. I think it was after the Classic when she missed at least one game. I don't know how many it was.
And then before that, sometime they started the season trying to run some like 6-2 stuff, so she wasn't. I don't know, but she's dominating.
Yeah, insane.
Yep. So time to move on to the PVF. PVF recap. Not too many games this week, but it started off on Wednesday with the Orlando Valkyries versus the San Diego Mojo, and the Valkyries won 3-1. So they're not going on a lose streak. We didn't mess them up that bad.
Yeah. I guess the Hall of Fame luck kind of ran out a little bit. Mm-hmm. I was kind of amping that up last week, but it's okay. It's still against the best team in the league, so.
Yeah. And player of the game is Natalie Foster. She had 13 kills on 50% efficiency, and she also had 3 aces. So very good game from her. We can just move on. Next, on Thursday, we started off with the Columbus Fury versus the Indy Ignite, and the Indy Ignite won in 5 sets. So very interesting seeing that Indy Ignite is looking to be one of the top teams, and Columbus is at the bottom of the rankings. So taking them to 5 is good for Columbus, and Indy, I'm not necessarily sure you need to be worried, but it's just something to note.
Yeah, it was a very close game, obviously 5-setter, but I think Columbus has shown flashes of, obviously they're in the league, so they should be pretty decent. And
still have good players.
Yeah, they definitely have good players, and they have flashes of times where they can look really good. Mm-hmm. Now it's just not that consistent yet, and that's why they're at the bottom. But
our player of the game was Azani Teeler for 17 kills on 25.6% efficiency with 3 blocks and 11 digs. So great performance. Also, shout out to Sydney Hilly. She had 68 assists, which is a godly, high, insane number of assists. But moving on to the next game. Second game of that night, we had the Vegas Thrill versus the Grand Rapids Rise. Vegas broke their crazy sliding losing streak by winning this one 3-1.
Yeah. I think if you're a Vegas Thrill fan, you're definitely panicking. Yeah. Just because of the loss streak, it was just so scary. Mm-hmm. But they get a win here, and it's kind of against one of the competing teams with them in that standing. So it is a big win for them, and hopefully to get them back on track.
Yeah, I mean, if they still want to make playoffs, fight for the 4 spot, you got to take these wins. So it's good for them. And our player of the game was Charity Looper. She had 23 kills, 36% efficiency, 1 ace, and 9 digs.
I think this just continues to amaze me how good the rookies straight out of college look. And she's one of those players that, she played in the championship match, and she showed that she could definitely do it in that championship match and in that run. Yep. But even now, obviously this is a great game for her. So,
Yep, showing their stuff, and I think the rookies are going to help elevate the PVF for sure.
For sure. And Vegas Thrill, hey, break that loss.
Kind of back. Sure. But moving on to Friday, 1 game only. Orlando Valkyries versus the Atlanta Vibe. The Vibe won 3-1. Orlando still not exactly back dominating the league, but Atlanta has been on a tear, so you can't fully blame them.
I think this is definitely the time where it's maybe going to shift. Just that Atlanta has been getting really hot. Orlando has been shaky here and there. Obviously, they're still winning their games that they need to. Yeah. But this was a big one for Atlanta to win. I think this can give them confidence that, hey, we can still beat this top team.
Yeah, they can. It feels like now they're gunning for that number 1. We didn't have them in power rankings ranked number 1, but honestly, with the way that they're playing right now, they could be.
They're right there for sure.
Yeah. So the player of the game this time was Leah Edmond. She had 15 kills, 21.3% efficiency, so not too high, but she did have 14 digs and really good serve receive numbers. So great playing from her. And we can move on to Saturday's game. Saturday's game was the Indy Ignite versus the Omaha Supernovas. It was a 3-0. Pretty much a stomp, which is crazy to see because you expect a lot more out of the Supernovas.
It definitely concerns me a little bit, honestly, with how Omaha has been playing lately. It does make me think, are they slipping down to maybe the 3, 4, even 5 spot with Vegas Thrill if they're looking very good?
Yeah, it's a very weird place because we did think of Omaha as one of those dominant teams, and I mean...
They were. I mean, record-wise, they're winning the games that they should have been.
Yeah, they have some of the top players in the league still. We expect a lot out of them, and it's tough to at least get 3-0'd. Like, if they take a loss every now and then, that's fine. But getting 3-0'd, not the best look.
Yeah, it's a little concerning for me, just the fact that they're slipping a little bit, and you see these other teams, like Atlanta is getting really hot now, and they're considered top. I would consider them top 2. And Indy Ignite has still been winning the games that they need to win. And obviously this was one of the games that was a big statement game to me.
Yep, and their player of the game was Azani Teeler again with 19 kills on 51.5% efficiency, which is gross, especially for not a middle at the highest level. 1 ace, 5 digs, and 1 block, so she was doing everything.
It's kind of like fitting the prototype that we were talking about last week about the right side being so dominant. And it's kind of funny because she's not really looked at to be that.
I mean, she's not very tall.
Yeah, and
not what you expect.
But the team is so great overall. But hey, this week she showed it that she can really get down, and she can win that team or win that game for that team.
Yep, very, very good. And we can move on to Sunday, the final game of the week. It was another 3-0 where Atlanta beat the Columbus Fury, and the Fury kind of looked a little bit more, or the result was that the Fury lost kind of like what we expected a little bit more of. But again, Atlanta, big win streak. They're climbing up the rankings, and they're going for that number 1 spot now.
Yeah, they just took care of business. I don't think there's too much here going on.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Only things to note this game. Player of the game was Pia Timmer with 11 kills, 37.5% efficiency, 6 digs, and 1 block. And for Columbus, their one thing of note was that Nutsara Tomcom played for them. They just signed her, and if you don't know her, she's a very legendary Thai setter, and she was the main setter for the Mojo, the San Diego Mojo last year. So cool to see her back on the court. Any short queens out there, look at her. She's not very tall.
Especially when you're trying to be a setter.
Yep.
There's definitely some out there that if you're skilled, you can still play.
Yep.
And hopefully maybe there's a lot of the Thai fans from last year. Maybe they're going to come back now that she's playing again.
Yeah.
So
watch her again. She's crazy good. But time to move on to the NCAA Men's. So for them, a bunch of games to go over, but we don't have to go too in-depth with all of them. On Thursday, we had CSUN versus Lewis, so number 8 versus number 15, and CSUN won in 5. So Jalen Phillips dropped 23 kills for CSUN, and Ogujan Oguz had 25 kills for Lewis. So it really was a duel back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, it was just 2 guys throwing haymakers at each other.
Yeah, hammering the ball.
And CSUN, I mean, this was a good win for them. Obviously, this is a team that they should beat because of their high rank, and I think that's the statement that CSUN wants to make that push for the tournament. And they did that. Jalen Phillips has looked insane, so this is just another game for me that kind of backs that up for him.
Yep, and that's why they're ranked high. And next game of the night, we had Loyola Chicago versus Ohio State, number 6 versus number 17. Loyola Chicago won 3-1, kind of what we expected from this lopsided of a matchup, but close enough. And Parker Van Buren, player of the game, 19 kills, 48.6% efficiency. He also had 3 aces and 4 block assists, which is some crazy high numbers.
Yeah, Parker Van Buren still showing that he's really just one of the best right sides.
Yeah, that guy, Loyola Chicago, probably going to make the tournament, presumably.
They should.
Yeah.
They really should.
So moving on to Friday. Friday started off with number 7 BYU versus number 13 GCU. BYU won 3-1. Luke Benson and Tillon Jonathan Tufuga combined for 30 kills for BYU. Crazy together. And that's about all you can expect from this game.
Yeah, I think GCU is one of those teams though that they're kind of bordering, like they have a chance to get in there, but it does look a little bit like a stretch.
I mean, I think we'll see later on in the summary that they're still good. But the other game of note for Friday, which is not really of note, but it was Long Beach versus NJIT. Long Beach ranked 1, obviously. NJIT unranked. NJIT lost, but they took a set off. And Long Beach had been on a win streak of like 4 wins in a row where they hadn't dropped a set. So shout out to you, NJIT. Way to get that one set.
It's kind of funny though. I mean, they were just playing a lot of their backup players.
Yeah.
And they were still doing really well. But again, shout out to NJIT for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they were messing around, but NJIT capitalized, and they were close. They were close to trying to get that 4th set. So, still pretty cool.
Yeah, you can't blame them. You just gotta play the people in front of you, and they did that, and they ended up winning the set. So
yeah, and that takes us into Saturday where they played again, and Long Beach took care of business this time. Didn't mess around. 3-0.
Yeah,
but more what we expected. So it happens. Other games of the day for Saturday were number 15 Lewis versus number 17 Ohio State. 5-set banger. Oguzhan Oguz dropped 24 kills, again being a hard carry, so pretty sick.
Yeah, really good showing for him for this week, for sure.
Yep. Then we had number 6 Loyola Chicago versus number 8 CSUN, so pretty good matchup. Close call for these barely making the tournament edge teams. It was 5-setter. Loyola Chicago won. So Parker Van Buren had 19 kills, and Jalen Phillips in this duel had 17 kills.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the right sides. It's just a right side duel. I mean, Jalen Phillips, I don't think people really think about him like consistently as one of the best opposites, but I think so. I think with the way that he's played and with how good CSUN has been, I think you kind of have to put him in that tier of players. And obviously Parker Van Buren is a lot of people think that he's one of the best right sides for sure. So it was a really cool
I have a number 1, but
it was a really cool duel to see them go back and forth.
Yep. And the final game of note would be BYU versus matching up versus GCU again, except this time GCU won in 3-0. Complete sweep. It was a good team effort. I don't think anyone stood out too much, but shout out to Cole Otmar for leading the team with 12 kills for GCU.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. I think this is just one of the teams that is still looking outside in right now on the tournament, but if they could stack up other really good wins, they might have a chance. Yeah,
they're still extremely good, but now it's really time to move on to the bulk of our episode, the main part where we help you figure out which league you should be watching based on your preferences. We're going to start off with League One, so this is why you should watch League One Volleyball.
Obviously, the biggest part about it is the play is very, very good.
Yep. I think this is, for American volleyball, this is the highest women's level you're going to get. It's a lot harder to watch international volleyball. I'm sure everyone who's tried knows. So being able to watch these games pretty easily, it's really nice to see this high-level volleyball.
And I think obviously the high-level volleyball, it comes from the founding players, and that means that you got plenty of Olympic athletes that are playing in this. So there's a lot of fans that can follow because of you're probably going to be watching the Olympics, so you know a lot of those players. And there's a lot of really big-name players that aren't in the Olympics, and it's really fun to watch for them.
Yeah, I think it's also good because this is kind of the Olympic pipeline type of league.
That's how it feels.
Yeah, so a lot of these, especially younger players that you're seeing in League One, these are the players that you're going to see trying to make it onto the national team for the future moving forward. We have a lot of aging out players from this past quad, so it's good to watch this league so you can keep your eye on the future stars of USA volleyball.
And I think that is perfect to look at the League One, or it's the Love 6 is how they called it, right? And I think that was one of the big selling points that I would believe is how they would try and get a lot of the college fans to watch League One.
I don't even think the term leagues or League 6, Love 6 matters anymore, because as the season's gone on, they've added more and more young players. So There's just a lot of young players to keep your eye on in this league.
Yeah, and it's been really fun. I think, those 6 in particular have looked very, very good whenever they step on the court. So it's interesting to see the clash of some of the international players that they brought in, obviously Olympic athletes, and even the young guns that they brought in as well.
Yeah. And it is those 6, but we don't want to exclude Rachel Fairbanks. We don't want to exclude Sammy Francis, who just came in. So some more young players to keep your eye on. But as for what it doesn't have, what it may be lacking compared to some of the other leagues is kind of, I think that fan base atmosphere is something that you're missing. League One right now is one big organization, so there isn't exactly any unique team identity for any of their single city teams. So everyone's kind of rooting for League One as a whole for the most part. You're going to watch League One volleyball. You're not necessarily going to support your hometown team. So that would be the one kind of atmosphere thing to watch out for if you're trying to pick between leagues.
Yeah, I think you would only really notice it when you're contrasting between the PVF.
Yeah.
But
I think this is the contrast between the PVF and the NCAA men's. I think they don't necessarily have that unique fan base per city type thing.
For sure. And hopefully that's what can happen moving forward. Maybe in the next season. I'm hoping that that's what's going to happen. Maybe just with more time, fans can grow a little bit more for each city. So we'll have to see what's going to look like going forward.
Yeah, but for the remainder of the season, that's just something to watch out for. I think the other thing that you'd want to look out for when it comes to League One is that sometimes the atmosphere of the games or the energy of the players on the games can be a little bit more friendly between them versus some of the other leagues where, especially NCAA men's, where you really see them kind of yapping at each other.
Yeah, they're going at it. There's stare downs across the net, stuff like that.
Yeah, doesn't necessarily happen. Jordan Thompson does do it from time to time. Haley Washington's very good at it, but it's hard to tell if it happens. Tia Jimerson also gives a lot of attitude, but it's hard to tell. Sometimes you'll see a lot more laughing between the net versus like real, almost animosity like sometimes happens in the NCAA.
Yeah, and I guess I would say that's more, is it catered to someone's cup of tea? If they prefer that, if they want more of the animosity, maybe just more competitiveness, which can be good for sure for the game. So we'll see how that keeps going forward. I think it's in a decent balance so far where I think in the beginning of the season it looked more friendly. And now it's gotten a little bit more competitive and they're going at each other more.
Yeah, now that playoffs and a little bit more money is on the line, I think everyone's locking in a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think that kind of does it for League One, our pros and cons for them. But that atmosphere conversation will take us on to the PVF.
Here's why you should watch PVF.
So for the PVF, we'll just go straight into it with the atmosphere type thing. They're a lot more competitive, I think, with each other. The level of play is a little bit lower, of course, but when you see them playing against each other, they really, really come to win every night. And it feels like they're really trying to rep their team more versus a little bit of that friendliness.
For sure, yeah. I think the team versus team can be shown, especially in the fans. I think that's the biggest contrast to me, is that when you look at maybe an Indie Ignite game, I would say that's the best arena, and the home matches for them are crazy. I think that is the perfect example of what PVF, their selling point is and why their league is so great, is because of the fandom that you see and that this team is really rocking and they're going to try and beat everyone that comes in front of them. So I think that's definitely something that you have to look at for.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for a crowd atmosphere that's more similar to like the NBA, NFL, PVF is what you're trying to watch.
Yeah, that's definitely the closest you're going to get with how fandom is there.
Yeah, and I think another thing to note would be that the play might be a little bit lower level than the League One per se, but in PVF, they're really, really scrappy. So you're getting a lot of scrappy plays, but a lot of people are throwing their bodies on the ground, really trying for every point. So it's fun to see that level of hustle that sometimes can be missed in other leagues.
Yeah, again, I think it's like a little bit of personal preference, but it's definitely really fun to watch when it's very scrappy and it looks like they're really going at it. So that's definitely something for PVF.
Yeah. And another pro for the PVF is that this is a league where you know that there's going to be continuity between years. Players are signing contracts that can last a little bit longer. Players want to stay in their home cities, home draft cities. So you get to see players like Leah Edmond, Morgan Hens sticking with the Atlanta Vibe for now 2 years, going to be more years in the future. So it's good to have players that you can root for, and you know you're going to root for them for multiple years to go.
Yeah, I think, again, that's a really good pro for PVF, is that this is what's going to build the fandom for one certain team is, again, like, you know the players that you're probably going to see, so it definitely can make it more fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. And then now just moving on to some of the cons that you might have with the PVF was that it's definitely the lowest skill level league of the 3 that we're talking about today, but that isn't necessarily a problem when they're bringing in that effort. It's just they don't have the best of the best players available to them right now.
Yeah, and that shouldn't, and we're trying not to make that a knock on the PVF, because again, don't get it wrong, the play is very good still. It's just when we're comparing between each other, we just feel that there's a little bit of a level difference. But again, I think the PVF is still very fun to watch just because of, there's a lot of really good players in there. There's a lot of named players that is really fun to follow. So
yeah, I think it's probably a little bit more from the physicality. I think the PVF has a lot smaller, like physically smaller players than the other leagues. But I think honestly that could also be a pro, especially for people who aren't exactly tall. They're not 6 foot plus monsters. People who are looking for players to mimic, players to look up to. I think looking at the PVF, there are a lot more players that you can take inspiration from. I think for young players who don't expect to grow to be past 6 foot, I think the PVF has a lot of great players for you to look up to.
For sure. I think it's definitely a good way for the younger girls to look at it and find a player that they really like watching, and they can latch onto that. And I think PVF is definitely one of those leagues that you can do it.
Yeah, I think even for, say, like adult or older players who aren't necessarily looking to go pro, play in college or anything like that, but that are kind of just looking to improve themselves in their normal, like, recreational play, I think a complaint that a lot of people have when watching pro games or men's games especially is that they're getting so high, they're playing so big, the game feels like a different game to them, but the PVF feels like maybe like the peak level that you could still get to a little bit more easily, because you're not watching 6'6" players go up and block each other, swing 95 miles per hour almost. So I think there's a lot of inspiration to take from the PVF.
Yeah, I think for a women's league, it's looked very, very good. And again, it's like the contrast between like the men's and the women's game. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really good that for the US that obviously we're starting out with the more popular game, and it's for women's volleyball, because it's so huge in high schools nowadays, and club volleyball is insane. And I think this is a great way for PVF League One to kind of show off what pro volleyball can look like in the US.
Yep. And I think that's going to wrap it up for the PVF, but that physicality aspect is kind of good for moving on to the NCAA Men's. This is why you should be watching the NCAA Men's. About the physicality, they have the biggest, the strongest players, the most dynamic play. Players are moving fast. Plays are happening fast. It's super fun and dynamic to watch. It's almost how, like, in the NBA, when you compare NBA to other levels of basketball, you see such a drastic gap in like speed and dynamic ability between people. So I think that's something that's a pro for the NCAA Men's.
For sure. And I think the athleticism is something that is insane to watch for these guys. I mean, again, they're so tall and they're still moving so fast, jumping so high and swinging so hard. I think it is really cool to watch if you're someone that's looking to find just the hard hits, the big blocks, and hard serves. I think it's definitely a good thing to watch or get into.
Yeah, I think if you're ever trying to watch if you want to see any highlight type plays happening live or in the middle of a game, you want to be watching the NCAA men's because that's where the real like bounce highlights, the ace highlights, all those types of things, that's where it's going to happen.
Some might say that there might be some clip farming going on in men's volleyball nowadays. And if you're looking for the best of clips and the best of highlights, NCAA men's is definitely where it's at for USA Volleyball, for sure.
We already know all the clips. We see the Moni clips. They're everywhere.
We've done it too.
Yep. So that's definitely something to look at. And then another big thing that NCAA has that not every other league has, actually none of the other leagues have quite yet, is that these schools have like long tenured programs. So there's a lot of history behind these teams. So you can be rooting for a Long Beach State. You can be rooting for UCLA. These teams have been around for decades and decades. There's a lot of history behind these teams. So it feels a lot better to root for a specific school. You feel a lot more history behind it. You can deep dive into the former players. Former players come back and watch, coach the teams. I think there's just a lot from the history of these schools that adds to the vibe and atmosphere of games.
Yeah, and I think even as simple as just some people that have collegiate pride and they like volleyball, so then you might just be rooting for UCLA or for USC, even Hawaii, like, you know, stuff like that. I think that's just another way that, you know, the fandom has gotten really crazy for NCAA men's.
Support your local or the college that you went to. I'm sure they have a volleyball program. There's a lot more D1 programs nowadays, and the level is just rising and rising. Let's go Tritons. UCSD, baby. One of the cons that I think everyone already acknowledges is that games can get a little boring to watch in terms of the biggest criticism is honestly the serves. There's a lot of missed serves when it comes to NCAA men's. It's like nature of the game where
you have to serve tough. You really have to serve tough, or else you're kind of gonna get a ball hit straight back at you, and you're not gonna have as much of a chance.
Yeah, it's unavoidable the way it is. So if that's something that bothers you, you don't want to see a bunch of missed serves in a row. You'll get angry about it. This might not be the league for you, but everything else about it, super fun, super dynamic.
Yeah, I think that's really the biggest knock is just sometimes the game can get boring, maybe slow, and it could just be annoying if you don't like missed serves. And obviously that's where it's going to come in. So if you don't like that, then probably stray away from it. But there's a lot of other things. A lot of the really good athletes are going to be playing in NCAA men's.
I think watching NCAA men's, it's like watching the peak athleticism volleyball that you can watch in the US right now.
For sure.
Yep. And the one final knock on the game, which is another unavoidable thing, is that because it's college and there are some programs that are a lot more historical and better filled out than others, there's going to be a lot of lopsided games. I think we've already been over it in our match review. We had a lot of 3-0s this week. I skipped over a lot of 3-0s because no one wants to see, I don't know, the number 2 through 5 teams playing an unranked team and then going 3-0, winning 25-15 every time. So there will be some matches where you could probably avoid them because you probably won't have fun watching them unless you're really there to see people clip farm.
Yeah, and the only thing is with collegiate, that's just kind of the nature of it, is that they are going to have to play teams that maybe aren't as good. So that is just going to happen. Obviously, the good thing about it is that there are so many games going on a good amount of the time.
You can normally find a good game.
Yeah, you have a good chance of being able to find a good game where you find a good team playing, and they might be playing another really good team.
Yeah, but maybe, especially say like these weekdays, like Monday through Thursday or Wednesday, it'll be a lot more of the games you don't want to watch.
Yeah, those can get tough when it's a top-ranked team playing an unranked team for sure.
Yep, but for the men's NCAA, I think there's a lot of fun things to watch, a lot of insane clips that you can get, and definitely super fun.
Yeah, keep promoting the men's volleyball game.
And I think that concludes us going over which of the leagues that you should be watching right now, and hopefully we're able to help you make a decision or encourage you to check something new out if you've only been watching one of them. And now it's time for us to move on to the rally round and play some games.
Please just support all volleyball in general, right? Even if it's men's, women's, it's all fun to watch. Definitely take a look at every league there.
Welcome to the rally round, where we play our drafts, blind rankings, and other games. As we always do, we're going to start off with a draft. And this week we're going to be doing League One, and we're going to be drafting the Rising Stars. So how we quantified that was players 25 and younger.
It's actually pretty hard when you look at it.
Yeah.
You kind of assume that there would be some of the borderline players, but then, you scroll through the rosters and it's like, wow, that's 25 and younger, and that's it.
To note, we will not be drafting anyone who is in the Olympics.
Yeah, they're just not going to be 25 or younger.
Yeah. Let's draft teams consisting of League One's Rising Stars. I have the first pick this week, and I'm going to start off by taking one of the very limited positions by our age quantification. I'm going to take Rachel Fairbanks from Atlanta as my setter.
Oh, that's tough. She has been so good.
Yes. It sucks that she's been injured recently, but she's really good, and you can kind of see sometimes when Atlanta was missing her.
Yeah, I think that was she was definitely part of the reason why Atlanta was so good. So, definitely fair to take her with the number 1 pick.
Yep.
All right, but for my first pick in this Rising Stars draft, I think I have to take her. I'm going to take Jess Merzik.
Ooh, of course. Yep. Jess Merzik has already been one of the top outsides in the league, and it just helps a lot that she quantifies for this.
Yeah, I would say she is the best at 25 or younger. And obviously it looks way better when this is her first year playing pro. And she literally just came off of winning a national championship. So it just looks a lot better right now. But I'm happy that I took her.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
All right. And then to me, this is also a no-brainer. I'm going to take the 3-time national champion, Maddie Skinner, as my right side.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. She's also been extremely good. One of the top point scorers in the league. That sucks for me.
She's definitely been showing why she was that good. And obviously she didn't have the greatest of a run last year, but she's still shown why she's that good.
Sometimes she can be a little bit more inconsistent, but I think it comes from her being the hardest arm swing in the league, and she's in her first year pro.
Also looks like she's hitting over people a lot of the time.
Yeah,
too.
She's already one of the most physical players in the league, and it's her first year playing pro.
Hey, that's why she was looking at to be in the Olympics. She didn't get there, obviously, but she.
Yeah. We're probably going to see some national team play out of her this coming summer, so that's a good pick. Oh, man.
Hell yeah.
All right, I guess I know what I have to do now.
I know what I have to do.
Yep. So for my picks, I'm just going to move to the middle. My first middle, I'm going to take Tia Jimerson, also from Atlanta. She barely makes the cutoff into our Rising Stars, but she is a rising star for us, and she's been amazing this season.
Yeah, I mean, arguably the best middle. Both on offense, defense, she's been doing everything, so.
Yep. And she loves doing a little bit of attitude, giving that finger wave.
Oh,
she gets blocks. Love it. Love it.
Shout out to Kembe Mutombo.
And that takes me to my other middle. I'm just going to take both of them right now. I'm going to take Amber Igidi from Houston, who also just barely makes the cutoff for Rising Star, but I think this season of League One has turned her into a rising star where she might not have been on everyone's map coming into the season, but everyone knows her name now.
For sure. I think she hit her stride in maybe like week 3 or 4, and then obviously in the Classic, she definitely showed out.
Yeah.
And I think since then, she has just ran with it, and she has looked like one of the best middles.
Yep.
All right, that makes it tough for me, but you took all your middles out, so I can look forward here.
Not too much competition anymore between positions. Basically, the only contest we have is just outside, so you just pick one of your last outside, and that's it.
Well, there's a lib, too. Depends if I'm taking the lib.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm going off vibes. I'm taking Lexi Rodriguez. I know she's not even really playing libero, which kind of sucks, but she's literally playing behind the Olympic lib for the U.S.
Yeah.
So you can't do anything about that.
We all know what she can do. When she does get to play as a DS, she's been showing a lot of flashes. She actually just had her first start like last week, so congratulations to her, and she's a good addition to your team.
I still take it. I know that it doesn't really make sense because she's not really playing libero, but she's still playing DS, okay?
That's basically libero.
And when she has been playing, she looks so good, so
Yep.
I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to take my other outside. I think she has also been very good. I'm going to take Sarah Franklin.
This dude's just got the NCAA team.
Oh yeah,
I got all the NCAA first years coming in.
Think about all the national player of the years that I got and how they've been playing. Come on.
Yeah, he's got a stacked roster with that.
Sarah Franklin obviously was very good in the last 3 years of her college career. She was so good. I think she's been struggling a little bit with defense and serve receive, but I think with some time she's gotten a little bit better, but obviously the offense has still been there. That's definitely the biggest point for her.
Yep, that's a very good pick. And now we're on to my picks. We have no overlap anymore, so
Can't deny
I can just pick whoever I want. I'm just going to go down, pick my outsides right now. First off, I'm going to take Logan Eggleston from Austin. I think she's already one of my favorite players. Austin's my favorite team. She's probably one of the top blocking outsides in the league. She did win best outside hitter during the Classic, so I think she's a great player.
Yeah, I mean, the arm sling and the power that she has is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It's just crazy that you have her and Maddie Skinner on the same team.
Yeah.
Again, in pro and not in college anymore.
Yeah. A lot of big swings coming from this team, so it's pretty fun. And she's a founding athlete. I think the only founding athlete that we have available to pick from.
That's true.
It means nothing, but
yeah, make that what you want, but yeah, that's okay. That's true.
And for my second outside, she didn't start playing in the season until much later, but I think she's been one of the additions that they've been needing. I'm going to take Maddie Kubik-Banks from Omaha as my final outside hitter.
Yeah, I think she's been really good when she has been put in the games now. Mm-hmm. She does look very good. I think she was like maybe, I can't say turning point because they haven't really been winning still, but she has been like a little bit of like a spark plug for them, and it looks like they've got some energy back.
I think she helped them from looking a little bit dead in the water because things looked like they could have started to get real bad, and then they put her in. She brought some energy. She didn't get injured like some of their other players, which is that's its own pro, unfortunately, for that team. But yeah, she's been super good and honestly better on both ends of the ball than I expected.
For sure.
So welcome addition to my team.
All right. Well, doesn't really matter what order I pick them anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Magdalena Jelarova, or Magda, from Atlanta as my middle. And I'm just going to take my other middle. I've been a fan of hers since college. I'm going to take Anna Stevenson Hall.
She's one of the most dynamic players, one of the most dynamic middles in the league for sure, and she's been helping Madison a lot with their turnaround, so it's a good pickup.
I'm a little biased as well, taking Madison. But, hey, she's been looking real good when she's in there. So
that brings us to my pick, and to stick on the Madison train, I'm going to take Milicia Medved as my libero. She's been great, and she didn't start out the season as their libero, but she earned her spot, and I think she's proving fully why she's been the libero of this team.
It hurts. I should have I had the thought of taking her because she's from Madison, and she was definitely a turning point for them when they brought her in to be the lib.
Yes, the defense stepped up a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely turned around for the Madison defense.
Love to have her on my team, and then we are just looking at right side. Yeah, that's my last thing. I'm going to take Skylar Fields as my right side, and she's from Salt Lake. So I think, especially when Salt Lake has been looking good this season, she's been a major reason why they look good. So I think she's a perfect addition to my team. She's going to score the ball a lot. She can carry the load of having to swing a lot, even though the team's good enough for her not to do it, but she can do it if needed.
Yeah, definitely a super physical right side whenever she's in the game. Mm-hmm. Then to round out the draft, my setter, I'm going to take Sage Ka'ahaina Torres.
Yes.
I think when she's been in the game, I think they split her with Carly Lloyd, but when she's in the game, she is a physical setter, and she's still been able to get her hitters the ball. So I still feel good with that.
Yeah, I think she's honestly shown, as the setter for my favorite team, she's shown a lot of bright spots, and there are some inconsistencies, but I'd like to think that some of it comes from her not being able to take that full-time starting setter job and splitting so much time, not getting full reps with the team and all the players. I think that's not really doing her the best.
I will say, just to preface this whole thing, the setting and the ages for the setters is crazy. I had no idea, but all of them are older than 25, besides these two.
Yeah, so when I picked Rachel Fairbanks, I forced him into picking Sage Ka'aina Torres.
Which is not a bad thing, but Rachel Fairbanks has been insanely good, so.
Yeah, but that 100%, that fully determined his setter from the very start.
Yeah, I didn't really know that they were all older than 25 until I looked it up, and I realized, oh wow.
Let's go over our teams. So for my team, for my setter, I had Rachel Fairbanks. My outsides were Maddie Kubik-Banks and Logan Eggleston from Austin, Maddie Kubik-Banks being from Omaha. My middles are Tia Jimerson from Atlanta and Amber Ajiti from Houston. My right side is Skylar Fields from Salt Lake, and my libero is Milicia Medved from Madison.
Really good team. But my team is going to be Sage Ka'aina Torres from Austin. That's my setter. And my outside is going to be Jess Merzick from Houston and Sarah Franklin from Madison. My middles are going to be Anna Hall from Madison and Magdalena Jelarova from Atlanta. My opposite is going to be Maddie Skinner from Austin. And then my lib is, I'm going to move Lexi over to the lib, okay?
Not a DS.
Lexi from Omaha. Let's go.
Yep. If I didn't take Rachel Fairbanks, I almost gave him the NCAA All-Stars.
Got like everyone from like the Elite Eight in there.
Yeah, oh my God. These are our Rising Star teams. Who do you guys think won, and which team's better? How would you have drafted differently? And now it's time to move on to our next game of the week. We're gonna be playing Connections this time.
Oh boy. All right.
My player this week is Kelsey Robinson Cook. Can you connect these 7 things to her? And the 7 things are Olympic medals, John Cook, the coach, not related to her, Tennessee, LeBron James, 22.7K, 2015 to 2016 Italian League, and League One #1.
Okay, the Olympic medals. Let's get this one out of the way. I believe she has 2 Olympic medals. Then it's 3.
She does have 3.
Okay. And, I mean, I could say what they are.
Yeah.
It's the 2024 in Paris. They got the silver.
Yep.
They got the gold in 2020 in Tokyo.
Yep.
And I believe 2016 was when they got the bronze.
Yep. So
in Rio.
Yes, she has all of the 3 medals. So that's its own crazy achievement. So she does have all those.
Okay, let me get to another one that I think I can knock out. I'll do with the League One #1. So I'm pretty sure, like, she's definitely one of the best passers. So I would say like passing percentage or passing efficiency, she's like #1.
That is one of the things she's #1 in.
Okay, that makes sense. Definitely just the best passer in the league.
Yep. 2.65.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy. Against some of the best servers, that's crazy.
Yep.
What else?
One more thing.
Is it an individual stat?
Yeah. It's on the same type of thing as defensive. Keeping that in mind.
Oh, she's number 1 in digs too, right?
Correct. She does have 193 digs.
That's crazy. As an outside to be leading in both of those stats is insane.
Yep. She's built different.
Okay, 2015, 2016 Italian League. My guess here, I feel like it's either just the best outside in the league or she was like voted MVP. I'm going to say MVP.
Correct. She was the MVP of the Italian League in 2015, 2016, which is one of the best leagues in the world. So she's just that good.
That's insane.
And part of her being MVP is she also won the Italian League with her team, Imoca Volley Conegliano. So she's just that good.
That's insane.
Yep. And let's be real here. That was 10 years ago almost. So she's been doing this for a long time at the highest level.
Okay, this is probably supposed to be easy, or I'm going to assume this one's supposed to be easy. John Cook, was her coach at Nebraska.
That was her coach at Nebraska. And also as a little side note, he tried to recruit her initially when she was still in high school, and she turned him down because she didn't think that she was good enough. She had a little bit of confidence issues there. So she played 3 years at Tennessee and then transferred to Nebraska, where she ended up winning Big Ten Player of the Year with them. So it all worked out.
All right. And then Tennessee was the other school that she played at before Nebraska.
Correct.
I did know that, though. I already knew that, though.
God damn it.
I already knew it. Moving on. 22.7K is difficult. Usually when I hear these numbers, I just assume that it's like social media or something, but I don't really know. I'm going to say that's like Instagram followers.
She's way higher than that. She has like 183K.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Let me not disrespect.
I don't know why I gave such a specific number.
Yeah, how do you know that?
Whoa.
Is that real?
I think so.
22.7K is so many. Is like, there's no way she has a stat for that though, right? It's not a stat, right? Bro, that's crazy if that's a stat.
It's not a stat.
Yeah, that'd be insane.
Oh, she has 188K. My bad.
That's pretty close though. That was
oddly close.
That's weirdly close. Oh man, 22.7K.
These are the two of the harder ones left.
As you can see, I left them at the end because I know that these are insane.
We're just going to give this one to him. I don't think he knows it. The 22.7K is her YouTube subscribers.
I'm sorry. I got to tap in then.
Yeah, that's a tough one. She mostly posted content about her playing pro abroad. A little bit inactive now, obviously, since she's home. But she has a very good YouTube channel.
Hey, hopefully she posts more now, and I will definitely watch those. Because it'd just be so cool to just see what it's like now.
If we could see some League One behind the scenes, woo,
that'd be insane.
Last one, LeBron James.
This makes no sense. Why is LeBron James one of these?
There is one thing connecting them.
The literal only thing I'm like, are they like both from Cleveland, Ohio or something?
No. There is one thing that Kelsey Robinson Cook has that LeBron also has. Time is up. We're going to need one final guess if you have anything. Otherwise, we're going to count it as incorrect.
What? No, I don't got it.
Kelsey Cook and LeBron James both wear the same jersey number. They both wear number 23.
That is the most random... Why is it LeBron out of all people that you say that? Oh my God. Come on.
And that brings us to the end of this week's Connections, Connect 7. He didn't finish the connections.
Hold on. I bet... How many of you would have known 23 was just because... Or LeBron was just because they wear the same jersey number? That's the most random thing to put in there.
She wears 23 for a reason.
Rigged.
Anyways, that means that it's time for us to move on. We're going to be playing another new game this time, introducing a new one. Not that new, not that complicated. It's guessing the top players in some sort of statistic. So I need you to guess the players in League One Volleyball leading in aces.
In aces.
Yep.
Okay. This is so easy, at least for me, for the top. Number 1 is Micah Hancock, hands down.
Correct. Micah Hancock is number 1 with 18 aces.
How far are we going in the list here? Is top 5?
Six.
Okay.
We're doing 6 because there is a tie, a 3-way tie for 4.
Okay. Actually, is Kelsey Robinson Cook one of them?
Kelsey Robinson Cook is only behind by 1. She has
Let's go.
17 aces.
Let's go. That's crazy. She is so good, man. Okay. I'm pretty sure I know this one. I'm pretty sure Taylor Sandbothi is still on there.
Taylor Sandbothi is one of our players tied for number 4 with 10 aces.
Let's go. Okay. From there, it gets tough for me.
You're missing number 3, and then the other 2 players tied at 4th place.
Oh my god. Okay.
Number 3 has 12 aces.
12 aces. Pretty good server.
She's another very experienced player.
Is it Jordan Thompson?
It is not Jordan Thompson. She's not on the list, unfortunately.
Ooh. That's pretty crazy. I feel like she would be up there.
I think she's close.
Okay.
She might be at 9 or something.
Is Jordan Larson on here still?
Jordan Larson is number 3 on the list.
That is crazy.
With 12 aces.
Man, that is insane.
Yep, she's still got it.
That is insane.
It's the experience.
Okay, so we got 2 more.
2 more tied for number 4. Both have 10 aces.
Okay. I feel like whenever I watch this team play, I feel like she gets aces. Is Carlini in there?
Carlini is not there.
Okay.
But there is a player from your favorite team.
Oh my god. Oh, it's so easy. It's Annie Drews, right?
Annie Drews Schumacher is also tied for number 4 with 10 aces.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yep. You got 1 more player left.
Is it Jordan Poulter?
It is not Jordan Poulter.
Okay.
One hint is that this player is coming straight out of NCAA. It's her first year playing pro right now.
Is it Jess Merzick?
It is not Jess Merzick.
Okay. I was going to say, that's crazy. Oh, it's Rachel Fairbanks, right?
It is Rachel Fairbanks,
Wow.
also tied for number 4 with 10 aces.
Wow. I'm not going to lie, though. I feel like she kind of has a weird serve, but it works.
Yeah, it works, and she's missed like 3 or 4 games in a row, so for her to still be on this list, it's that good of a serve.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, let us know if you guys were able to guess them. It was tough. That brings us on to the last segment of the day. It's time for blind rankings.
Everybody be loving these blind rankings.
Yep, so kick us off.
All right, here we go. I need you to blind rank these NCAA men's opposites.
Oh boy.
There's a lot of really good opposites in college right now. For your first opposite, we got Christian Tetrisky from Hawaii.
Ooh, he's very good. He's part of the reason why Hawaii is so good.
Offensive Player of the Week, Freshman of the Week. He's in those for the Big West.
All right. Well, I know he can't be number 1 because I have a number 1 in my mind.
Okay.
Is he the number 2 best right side in NCAA right now? That's my question. I'm a little bit of a safe player right now. I'm gonna put him at number 3. He could have gone 2 also though.
Okay, that's safe. I mean, again, these are some of the best right sides, so that's not a bad spot. All right, and your guy, let's go with Anthony Sherfan.
Hey, that's UCSD. Yeah. I don't know if he can go number 2. He's definitely not going number 1. But I think he's been really helping this UCSD team, and UCSD just got ranked 11th in the coaches' rankings. So we are up there, and Anthony Sherfan is going number 4.
Number 4. All right. Maybe that's a little bit of home bias, but it's all right. Your next one, we have Parker Van Buren from Loyola Chicago.
Very easy. He's the number 1 right side in the nation right now. He's so good. He averages over 5 kills per set. I don't know if anyone else is doing that. We're giving it to him.
I think his hitting percentage is also like top 10.
Yeah.
It's up there though.
He is number 1, and it's not close.
Well, speaking of close, next you have Daniil Hershinovic.
Another really, really good right side. Dang.
On the best team in college.
They are the best team in college right now.
You got 2. Right, you have 2 and 5.
I have 2 and 5 left. It's a tough choice. We're putting Daniil Hershinovic at number 2.
Okay. Well, at your number 5 spot is Jalen Phillips from CSUN.
Ooh, Jalen Phillips has been balling. It sucks to put him at number 5, but it is what it is.
Hey, he had one hell of a week.
Yeah, we did just go over how great of a week he had this past week. But
it's hard. Hey, these are still the top right sides in college, so it's always tough to rank these.
UCSD, baby.
Bias.
But that's our rankings for NCAA Men's this week, and it's time to move on to League One rankings. Can you blind rank these League One opposites?
Woo! This is a stacked position.
It is a very, very stacked position. To start off, your first player is Kimberly Drevniak.
Okay. She is like all of the offense on Omaha right now.
Yeah.
You know, this is going to be a different angle this time. I'm going to put Drevniak at 5.
Woo! You hate to see it, but they are the worst team in the league right now.
I'm doing this mainly because I know that the position is so stacked.
There are a lot of right side carries in the league right now, so not completely out there. Your next player is Danielle Catino.
Okay. So she has looked really, really good ever since Tessa Groves has gone out. Wow, this is tough.
She is also one of the carries for her team, but so are all the right sides in the league.
Okay. I feel like as long as you don't screw me over here, this makes sense to me personally. I'm going to put Danielle Catino at number 3.
Pretty good spot for her. Your next player is Jordan Thompson.
Okay. Yep, number 1. Don't even have to think about it. Number 1.
She is that good. She's probably like the MVP of the league. She's dominating everyone.
MVP.
She is that good, and we understand.
Insane. She's insane.
You have 2 and 4 left. Let's see how it goes. Your next player is Maddie Skinner.
Oh my goodness, this is so hard. Oh man.
Yep, might not have expected her to be on this list, but here she is.
Not gonna lie, I low-key forgot. She is so good, but I low-key forgot because I was thinking about all the other right sides.
Yeah, we got a lot of really good right sides, and he doesn't know who's next.
Oh, this could make or break the list right here.
Yep.
But I'm going based off of who I think is going to be in the list. I have to put Maddie Skinner at 4 here.
Oh my God. Maddie Skinner fans, rise up.
I'm one of them.
She's her. Hardest arm swing in the league, number 4.
Oh, it hurts.
But that means at your number 2 position, you have Annie Drews Schumacher.
Okay. This is such a tough list. I mean, the right sides are so good. But Annie Drews, let's go. She's healthy. She's here.
It ended up being okay that you have the 2 Olympic right sides on your team. So there's no problems there. They got them 1, 2, 3. Danielle Catino, also national team playing. And then Maddie Skinner, Drevniak, 4, 5. Not bad.
Let's go.
Pretty good ranking. So that'll bring us to the end of this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. And comment down below which of the 3 leagues is your favorite to watch right now and which one you're going to keep watching moving forward. Please watch all of them, though.
Yeah. Me personally, I'm a huge fan of League One. I've always had a lot of fun watching them. But that's just me.
Yep. I'm trying to watch everything I can, getting a good mix in there. I'm mostly supporting UC San Diego.
That's men's volleyball for you.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching again, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later.